Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Hollywood Interviews. Tonight, just want to welcome our two members here. We got Wilson and Mike. You may recognize Mike already. He's a former interviewee, and he did the interview on the war on Tigray. And tonight, you're in for a special treat. We're gonna be talking about opportunities of a lifetime. So it's a little bit different than what we normally do here, which I'll explain a little bit in a little bit after we introduce everybody, just so that you kind of understand, especially for all the new members of the group. Um, so, fellas, you want to introduce yourself first, Mike?
My name's Mike Gebermeskel. I've known Nick for a couple years now. We were on the show here a couple months ago, I think, to talk about the war in Tigray, how you can help. So y'all should check that out, and then check out the rest of the page. There's a lot of cool, exciting stuff happening there. So appreciate you having me on again.
Thank you for coming back. Wilson?
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Wilson Apia Mensa. Just met Nick recently. We just kind of connected on talking options, and now we're here. And the only thing I really want to promote is learning, and it's actually through learning and options, and that I met Nick, and now I met Mike. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Let's get it.
All right. So just a little bit of a recap to everybody. If you are new to the group, just want to make sure that you kind of understand, why you're here and what the group is about. The group started back in September of 2020 during the pandemic. It was mainly for me to give back love to the world and give people an opportunity and a platform where they can network, because not what you know is who you know. And also just being able to provide an opportunity and a place for people to be able to promote their business or idea, or people an opportunity to see what the guy next door is doing that may not be so commercial or so, maybe something that's completely unique that you were looking for, that somebody next door has to provide and you had no idea. So that's the main purpose of the group. So make sure that if you are a member of the group, you do have a business, you do have an opportunity, an idea, or whatever the case is, or even if you don't and you just support, people, then just make sure to always continue to show love. And if you are one of those people that do have a business or an idea or whatever the case is, constantly promote it and put it out there, because you have no idea what that can change. Tonight, Mike will be discussing one of his business ventures. We'll also be talking about the stock market. Recently, this is a moment in time where we all have an opportunity that, it's an opportunity of a lifetime, especially for our generation. So it's definitely big things, and it's an open discussion between all of us, but as well as everybody who's watching in the audience to ask questions. We'll be talking about affiliate marketing, and pretty much, if you have a question, whatever, we got the answers for you. Me personally, my background is mechanical engineering. I did design for years, and I've had a ton of jobs before that. And now I'm currently a sales engineer slash entrepreneur, but lifetime hustler. So here we go, Mike.
Yeah. So I guess where do I start? You want me to go in on the podcast, or how do you want this to go down?
1 second. So the live should be shareable. I'm not sure who is saying that, but let me check. The live should be shareable, but we can go ahead and try to see why it may not be, because I actually was able to share that. So if you're not able to, then just let me know. The live should be shareable within the group. So if you're watching here live inside of Hollywood Affiliate Marketing Services, it should be the top post. Just click share down at the bottom. All right. So Mike, I guess just introduce, let them know your background a little bit, just kind of so that they know who they're talking to.
Yeah. Mike, born and raised in Dallas. Family comes from Ethiopia, specifically within Tigray. So would definitely recommend y'all go see that other episode. But been in Dallas my whole life. Went to Oklahoma State, and then came back to the Dallas area. I work in the pharmaceutical space right now, and really big on community and helping people out. Nick, recently picked up working out a little bit, so trying to make some gains. And then I think I can hoop, but I really can't, so that's another thing too.
Mike got a shot. I ain't gonna lie to you. Spot him, got him.
Yes,
Wilson?
sir.
Wilson?
A little bit about me, background. Originally, I'm from Ghana, West Africa, and migrated here when I was about 15. So been here quite a bit now. But my background in terms of like business and stuff, I've always kind of been like a serial entrepreneur, just trying a bunch of different things, and whatever sticks. Lately, it's been really about the stock market. Kind of got into the stock market like several years ago when I was working for the city. They set me up with a 457 account, which was something that you got when you were a temp worker. And I worked there for about 5 years. And within that time, like subconsciously or not even realizing it was already working, so they would take money out of my check. After 5 years, it was about $15,000. And I was like, wow, there's something here. There's something here. So I tried my hand in the stock market, and in one afternoon, in like 30 seconds, I lost $3,000, and I was out. Like I just completely stopped. And so like ever since then, I've been telling my family, we got to get into stocks. We got to get to stocks. And so, especially if you're like African or you're a foreigner, you kind of don't know how to navigate that conversation with, your parents or your family. So it took a long time. And one day I've been talking to my brother about stocks, and we started watching YouTube videos, came across this guy called Wall Street Trapper. And so my brother started watching him, and then he was motivated to get into stocks. And then he still lives with my parents and everything. And so he's kind of living a dream right now, just low overhead. So he's able to put a lot into the stock market. And so my parents and my family seeing the potential out there, they kind of got into it as well. And now pretty much my whole family trades. And so the way we kind of do it is, Nick, my brother William, he's kind of into stocks. I'm definitely getting deeper and deeper into options. And so together, and then he's also doing crypto, I'm doing crypto. And so together we're trying to kind of form a family that trades in the stock market and kind of uses this wealth generating machine to increase our family wealth. And so that's where I'm at right now. Just getting deeper into options and getting deeper into stocks and crypto and all those things, NFTs and things of that nature. And so this is why I promote learning, because like learning is is definitely the key to unlock success. So that's what
we got some support here.
That's probably him right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is too.
The bagman.
Yeah.
Right.
Money
The crazy
bag.
thing, though, one of the biggest things that you said there was, you're doing it as a family and you're building that generational wealth, and putting the whole family on is something that I think, I didn't mention it, but I'm from Jamaica, so I guess we got 3 foreigners here. But either way, that is not the average conversation that you have, especially like I noticed even from my current 9 to 5. When I start talking about the stock market, although they're a first world country, they don't have the same access that we do. And even if you were to think about that from us being, foreigners or just period, even minorities and or people who don't have the same access like the brokers did before. And now we have that opportunity, and it is truly an opportunity of a lifetime, because even with these new platforms and things that are out, it's time. You have the advantage that you can take now, and we'll get deeper into it too. And Mike, I'll let you talk about how you approach it. But when you talk to your family about it and things like that, they don't understand. They don't understand the value, the worth, and why that may be important. And not only that, but you don't really, there's so much skeptics behind it because they don't understand. It's not something that they've, been accustomed to hearing or knowing. Even to this day in other countries, they don't have a stock market, or it's not accessible to them. And now we actually have that. And not only that, but to me, with it being the pandemic, not only is it an opportunity to learn about it, but it's the prime time to buy because everything is on sale. So what you think, Mike?
Yeah, no, First off, that's pretty cool that y'all trade as a family. Like that's a cool way of interacting. That's not just like, we're gonna sit down and have dinner. That's like a whole, we're gonna put our, thinking caps on and actually like think as a family and try to like make the best decision possible. Like, that's really inspiring. But yeah, I mean, I guess the way I look at it is, as long as you're putting in money that you're okay with spending, right? Like if I had no overhead, you could put more money into the stock market, invest how you feel, and then just do your research. I mean, that's usually what it comes down to is when is a company about to unveil a new product? Do we know that new product is about to take off and launch? Like those different things. Like I don't know what the success rate is of the Apple stock when the iPhone comes out, but usually if it's a good phone, that stock price is jumping. So it's just like different things like that. Do your homework. But then in terms of the stock market existing, I would say it's interesting for sure because of, it's capitalism. Like if a company owns the majority of their stock, they can sell a little bit to raise some money to build a new product. So that's their way of basically building the future. So the stock market does kind of help in a sense, but I don't know. I feel like as a whole, people are skeptical about it because it's so tightly controlled by a small group, right? They say the 99% versus the 1%. So, I mean, there's that going on. But, I mean, all in all, if you know how to traverse it, like that's a good ticket to get out of whatever situation you're in. So you just got to, study up like you do with anything else, right?
So two things you said there, though, I think that's kind of crazy. The skepticism that you're talking about is on a higher level of thinking. So you got skeptics from the standpoint of, educational standpoint of the 99 versus the 1%. And then you also have it from the level of people that just don't know. Like, for instance, I heard about Bitcoin back in 2016 and even beyond that. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know what that is. It sounds stupid. It doesn't make sense. So why would I put my money in there that I'm just going to lose it? It doesn't make any sense. So why would I do that? So people won't get into it because they just don't know. And then when you're more educational, you have more education on it and you study up and do your research. Now you're having educational, doubts and or educated doubts where now you're doing more research. Okay, so if this is doing that and the market's doing that, then why this and that? That is where it kind of ties back to what Wilson's talking about. When you start getting into options, things get very volatile and you can lose and you can gain money very quickly. And if you're not up on your research, you could have got in on the earnings day and lost everything. Or you could have got lucky. And luck is not something that you want to be having either, necessarily. And I'm not going to knock any luck, but because, you more power to you. And I'm going to take the money. But at the end of the day, if you're banking on luck and you're just gambling every day, you're going to end up in a losing battle every time. Or majority of the time.
Hopefully you're gambling money you're okay with losing.
Right. And with overhead, I'm gonna say this too, like even with Doge, I'm in Doge. But if you were making life-changing money, you need to take some of that life-changing money because you never know. And don't change your life with a brand new car. Change your life for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like pay off some credit debt, pay off some debt, go get some assets that actually appreciate, not depreciate.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's always hard to overcome, especially coming from like a different country or it's just the mentality. Like we hear this so much. Like you being Jamaican, Mike, where are you from?
From Tigray, Ethiopia.
Okay, see, you being Jamaican and we being African, like it's like the trifecta: a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. Well,
engineer. Yep.
Hollywood over here made it to engineer, so his parents have been proud of him. But if it's not one of those three things, it's like it's kind of frowned upon. So like it's interesting that we even talk about this because like when I first got out of high school, like my parents really tried to force me into going into medical school. So I did that. Right, I went to school for respiratory therapy. Like I had a kid. Like a lot of things were going on, and they were saying, well, if you could make more money, you'd be okay in life. And so it was like all about the medical field. Both my parents are nurses. My dad's been was a nurse for about almost 30 years. And so was my mother, teacher, nurse. So, and my mother transitioned from teacher to nurse. So like the mentality of always working to generate capital, always working to make money is been ingrained in them, and then they ingrained it in us. So now that like we can sit back and generate income and then transition that into generating wealth. It's a totally new thing. You have to kind of unlearn the old system because there is a way to do it, and it's being done. It's been done like for generations by other people. But if you just didn't know about it and you move to America and you're 40 years old, like now you have to change 40-year-old thinking. And so, but it's definitely possible. Like my dad now owns an 18-wheeler, and he also trades like actively. So it's definitely possible. But someone in the family, or someone has to be that black sheep, or someone has to go out there, get kicked in the teeth, and then figure it out, and then bring it back home.
Catalyst.
Exactly. Someone has to like galvanize the movement in the family. So, especially the young generation, like I feel like we really don't have an excuse, because the previous generations just neither had access to the information or just didn't have the opportunity to even if they had the access, they didn't have the opportunity to capitalize on that opportunity. So, like as a young generation, especially like for my family, I consider myself, my kids, and going on, like I have to pass this information on to them. And that means I have to learn it, right? And I have to go out there and get kicked in the teeth, lose some money, be depressed for a couple of days, those days where you have to just close the computer and just like, and then come back a couple of days later. Like all those teaching moments have to happen, but the sacrifice has to be made before we can get there. So, like, I'm definitely glad we're having these types of conversations more and more often. And it's great to see so many young black people like making it out here and then being able to take care of their family and then show everybody else in their circle like how to move forward. So, but then again, we have to learn. Like we have to read books. You have to learn from people who are doing it, people who are in places that like we're trying to go. So, yeah, it's good vibes all around. And I like the fact that you started this to show love. This is like one of the biggest things I always say is just show love. I mean, first you gotta have love within you, so you gotta take care of yourself, but then you gotta show love, and even passing on the information and learning it, and then passing on your experiences. Like that's a form of showing love as well. It's like to your culture, to your family, to just the people around you. So I'm definitely happy to be having this conversation. Like I look forward to learning from you guys and pretty much anybody else that comes along. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I just want to real quick just say that something that you said about being willing to get kicked in the teeth. I personally have taken a lot of L's in life or losses, but this depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in order to win, you have to be willing to take some losses. And in order to learn, you gotta, take some losses, or be willing to at least. So you got to be willing to get kicked in the teeth. Or for instance, if you want to relate it to the gym, I mean, in order for you to, build muscle or whatever the case is, you're going to have to be willing to feel some pain. So, you can't just get there without being willing to lose. I mean, millionaires out here have lost money, but they lose quick. You don't keep on losing and doing the same thing in a repeat cycle. You have to be willing to, though. And that's with any risk that you take. But if you live, this safe life and, kind of repeat this process and live in your comfort zone, then you're not, I guess, comfortable with being uncomfortable, then you can't really make too much progress.
Yeah,
I mean, how much, I guess it really comes down to another thing is like, if you're talking about taking L's, how do you look at those L's? Are you looking at it like it's a loss, or are you looking at it like it's a learning? If you really want what you're going after, an L should just be a learning. That's not a loss, because you're not giving up at that time. You're trying to get a W, which is, an actual win. There's no losing when it's, the only outcome is winning. So you just got to keep trying until you get there. If you have that mentality, like, I doubt that any failure is going to really hold you that long. Like, yeah, of course it's human nature to react like, dang, I took an L, but like, you should quickly start to think like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I apply myself for the next time and do better? Because I'll say the things that are the most like, I guess, enjoyable in life are the things that are the hardest things to do. You're going to fail multiple times to get there. But then once you do achieve whatever it is you're looking for, like it becomes that much more like thrilling, because it's like, man, you know how much I had to learn to get here,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
So let me ask y'all this then. What would you say is your ultimate goal? And I'm saying like, irregardless of of any limitations, if you had no limitations, which I'm going to say you have no limitations. I think no one has limitations unless they set them upon themselves. Because if you believe that there was really a limit on things, then the Wright brothers, because of them, we would not be flying. And I like to use that example all the time because before anybody saw it, and I'm sure they looked at them like they were dumb. They're like, yeah, you're an idiot. You're never going to end up in the sky. So without any limited thinking or limited beliefs, what would you say is your ultimate goal?
Yeah, I'll go first. I have 4 kids, right? I got lucky or cursed, one of the two. And I had my first kid, he's 8. Then I end up having triplets. So now I got 3 2-year-olds in my house right now. So yeah, that's what I said.
3 2-year-olds?
That's exactly what I said. Damn. But yeah, so like one thing I want to pass on to my children is just.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking 3 2-year-olds still. That's got stuck.
You say one of their name, you're gonna be meaning the other, and you're gonna confuse them with the third one. Man,
I don't even care anymore. Like, they all alive, no one's sick or anything. Like, I've done enough, man. Like, just stay alive.
Yeah.
Stay alive. And so, like, one of the things I really want to, like, I try my best to impart into my kids is to one, you have to learn, right? Whether you just have to learn, like, just have the open mindset of, like, just life is an adventure, right? And this is why I go by free will, because like when it clicked for me, like, dang, like everything we do is really a choice. Like, even like, or the only thing that's involuntary is really our feelings, right? We're gonna feel anger, we're gonna feel like sadness, we're gonna feel pain. We're gonna feel all these things. Those are involuntary things, right? But then how we choose to react to them is a choice, right? Because God put certain things in us that we just can't control. You can't control being 6'2", like, 6'3", but you can control how much you weigh, right? You can't control certain things like your emotions, but you can control your reactions. And so one thing I really want to pass on to my children is just the ability to think in abundance and just realize that everything in life is a choice. Like, so you can choose to learn, you can choose to not learn, you can choose to be poor, you can choose to be happy or sad, all these things. But overall, just my overall goal to pass down to my kids, just like my end goal in life, is just to teach my kids that happiness is a choice, right? Whether that's like, and the way I'm choosing to do that is to be financially free, and then show them what just being free as a human being feels like. Like, because one, we're in America. This is, at this moment in time, this is literally the best place to be on earth. Like, if you're an American citizen in America, you have the most upside in all of history combined right now. So just being able to capitalize on that, and then gaining financial freedom and owning your entire 24 hours is a major thing that I want to pass down to my children. I just want them to inherit the ability to choose what they do with every moment of their life. And then from there, I hope to pass down to them just good morals, like good problem solving skills, and just faith in God and moving forward and just believing in yourself. So my end goal in life is to just make sure that I teach my kids to be free and to be happy and serve God. Like, if I can do those 3 things, I think I would have made it. Like, I can't ask for anything more than that.
There's something else that you said there that was a huge gem, and I was gonna ask you, and I may still ask, but you were talking about freedom, and at first you mentioned financial freedom, and then you said owning your 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
To me, true freedom, I don't think, so in reality, yes, we live in a free country, but there are laws, there are regulations, and there is systematic slavery, if you ask me. That's my opinion. And I think that you're not necessarily free, especially if you're walking around every day in a mental state of oppression. So not only the oppressive mentality, but also the have to. So personally, my goal is not to be filthy rich and be chasing the dollar, because I don't think that equates to happiness. But it truly comes down to owning my 24 hours. So basically, what that means to me is, I think my cousin may be watching out there, but it is it's not even necessarily, I would put it like this: encompassing and being able to own your 24 hours to me also equates and encompasses the financial freedom, because you can't own the 24 hours if you're having to depend on something to provide money. So the goal to me would be wealth, but freedom to me means I'm not dependent on anything, any job, anyone for anything that it is that I need. Like you mentioned earlier, happiness is a choice. I'm not depending on someone to make me happy, make me feel loved, because I should be able to give that to myself. I should not have to, I don't want to have to depend on a job to, give me money and one source of income. Not, not even, not one source of income, not even just the stock market, not, my own, whatever it is. I don't want to have to depend on anything, anyone, for anything, because it is truly, I want it to be my choice. So in order to do that, I have to, set myself up. So I've got to do things now in order to not only free myself, but free my family, future family, and whoever else comes behind me. And then they be able to look and have a model that, okay, so I didn't have to do all these things. I don't have to wake up every day, go to a job that I hate. And I'm not by no means am I saying that I hate my job either, but um the have tos, when you have to wake up in the morning at a certain time, got to be there till a certain time when you leave, have to do this, have to do that, and then those are the things that I would want to free my family from, is the have tos. If you're able to do what you want, and I think a lot of people don't realize, especially with this group, one of the main reasons is, and I told Mike this in the beginning when I had the idea. A lot of people, when they post that they got the job, they have 1,000, likes on it, 200 comments, congratulations. But let somebody say that they started a business or they had some kind of success in their business or whatever the case is. Nobody is saying anything. But why is that? At the end of the day, if you think somebody owns the company that you're working for, and that person is technically in control of your life because you depend on it. But at the end of the day, they are doing what they want because they can cut you if they need to because it affects their dollar or their bottom line. So why would you not want to be that person or support someone who is aspiring to be that person? And why do you think that they're not capable of getting to that point?
Yeah.
So that's something that I want to instill, is just not even in the younger generation, but even the older generation, that what the dream is doesn't have to be this cycle of go to work, come home, eat, watch TV, go to sleep, do it all over again until it's time to retire.
Right.
Doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's just like, how do you think of it like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, the ultimate goal is that freedom. Like, I think that's like ultimately, like, I want to be able to wake up and say, like, I'm going to do this today, and then I'm going to do that, and everything is completely controlled by like what I want. But like you said, you have to work your way there, set yourself up in a way that makes that possible. So, I mean, instead of waking up and saying, I have to go to this 9 to 5 job or whatever, you look at it as like, hey, I'm going to learn this from this job that will take me to this thing that will allow me to do this. Like, you have to think with the outcome that you're looking for in mind. And then everything else in between is just in service to that at the end, right?
Mm-hmm. Anybody in the audience, it looks like Mike might have cut out, but if there's anybody in the audience that would like to, drop what their dream is or their idea of freedom is, or, feel free to type that in the comments below, and let's see what your dreams are and even possibly discuss that while we wait on Mike to come back. Yeah, I mean, that, like I said, you dropped some real gems, Will.
Yeah. One of the things I do often is I listen to one of my favorite people to listen to, rather, is Dr. Miles Monroe. He passed away several years ago. But one thing that he says that has always stuck with me for the last several years since I heard it was that once you know your destination, you automatically know which roads will not take you there. So once you know your destination, you automatically know which roads and which company will not take you there, right? So the object at any position from me that I'm in is how can I leverage my current situation to my advantage? How could I leverage this? Like for when I was working at the city, I worked my way up and became a code inspector, and I learned certain things about just the way the whole city operates, right? Just the way certain departments operate and who is in which department, and then started to move my way up and eventually made it into code compliance. And then in code compliance, you learn about city code, you learn about building code, you meet different peoples and different levels of government. Like I even got to a point where I was meeting like the mayor, the people in the mayor's office and the people who run our city, and just kind of getting the idea of like really the climate in which I live, and that helped me transition to other positions and other jobs as well. So, regardless of what position you're in, there's always something. And there go one of my kids right now.
Yeah.
One of my kids right now. So there's always something to be gained, and never feeling stuck is is very, very important. Like it's like people don't realize, or I shouldn't say I didn't realize how much life was mental. Like all of life is in your head, right? All of life is in your head. This is why some people can go through a situation and come out like better, and some people can go through the exact same situation and just come out completely demoralized and just like hate life to the point of committing suicide or hurting other people. Like life is all in your head. It just depends on like your mentality and your perspective. That's really what's gonna determine the outcomes. So I'm very, that's why I always say I'm very big on learning, because learning that's the only thing that can change anything, right? You can be in the same place in the same job for several years and know your job to a T, but if you don't learn anything outside of that, then that to the world, that's all you're good for, right? You might have within you the ability to lead the whole company or the whole country, but if you don't ever learn outside of what's immediately available to you, then you just end up stuck. You just end up stuck.
That's true. And I see it looks like William, he says his dream is to wake up richer and go to sleep richer, whole family taken care of, and he's named off quite a few people here. I don't know if you saw him as as the list was going.
Yeah,
but definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you, Leo Del Sol, putting in work. Appreciate you.
Definitely putting in work, and we got Mike back.
Mike, they won't let you be great today, man. They won't let you be great with this internet.
Spectrum got something against me. I don't know.
Oh,
you had to switch over to AT&T.
You gotta buy AT&T stock first. Get them dividends. Get them dividends.
Hey, real quick, let me just ask you: are y'all in Doge?
Nah, man.
Yeah.
Let's say Doge enough so this video can go viral.
I'm in Doge, but not enough. I should say that I'm in Doge, but not enough. Just my goal is to swing Ethereum. Like, just if you look at the charts between Bitcoin and Ethereum, Leo Del Sol and I were talking about this earlier with my dad. Like, if you look at the charts on Bitcoin and Ethereum, like, you can really just swing those things. Right? You can just swing them if you were to just if you were able to buy a whole coin, or if you were to buy a portion of it, you can swing it $200-300 every couple of days to where you can buy a whole coin, right? And then you can keep swinging that, right? So
yeah, everybody. Hey, you see now everybody chiming in as soon as we start talking about Doge. YOLO. Tap in, yeah. Everybody, I am. Yeah, I'm in Doge too, and my lender's actually swinging Doge like daily.
See, that's the key.
And it's crazy though, but if you really think about this, there was an article my cousin sent me this morning. If you would have put in $1,000 on January 1st this year into Doge, you would have made $100,000 yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as much as people want to say, "Oh, it's a joke, it's not sustainable," blah blah blah, man, that conversion is still real. So I mean, it's still real USD. Technically, you're not really buying a coin from like Robinhood anyway. You're buying an IOU. They're just basically giving you an IOU.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? Mike told me that, yeah, Mike's the one that was just talking to me about it the other day. He was saying how they own like 25% of all Doge. Are they
Yeah,
the
I
biggest
think
whale,
that's
Mike?
yeah. I heard Robinhood is the biggest whale. That's just like reading off of what I saw on the internet. It's not like I know anything more than anyone else, but I heard Robinhood was the last one, and then on top of that, they're trying to build out like a crypto wallet right now. So, like you said, it's an IOU. Basically, Robinhood is holding all this Doge, and they have no way of dispersing it, right? So it's like this is the value of your Doge right now. So you can go get that cash, but they also like, as you can see, like when it gets really frenzied, they kind of tie up the lines and they say, "Hey, we're having issues with selling cryptocurrency or whatever it is." So
Let me
like
go ahead. I was gonna
now,
say though, with Musk, Papa Musk, with him going on SNL Saturday, I'm thinking, I'm truly thinking that it'll hit $1 by then. But
You think
I
so?
would, I think it'll hit $1. I mean, it hit 70 cents
he's going
yesterday.
to specifically
This is
mention
true.
the term Doge Father on Saturday Night Live. That's like a nationally syndicated
Exactly.
show. Like it's a big show. I feel like it'll just get big because of the interest for it. But I also promise you, there's going to be a lot of people selling, like either like Friday or Saturday. So like it's I don't know. Like the question now becomes: do you sell some of your position and then just like hedge your bets on the rest? Like honestly, you should just take your original investment out and then let the rest ride. Because at the end of the day, it'll just be like another day in your life. You didn't really lose anything, you didn't gain anything, you got to experience it, and then go play with something that's a little bit more safe. Like that's kind of how I look at it, because you never know. Like if it does somehow become useful and it turns into a Bitcoin, like man, you are gonna look like a fool for selling right now. But at the same time,
Yeah.
you want to take at least what you put in and just say like, you know what, it is what it is.
Yeah, I
Yeah, look at that
mean,
right there.
yeah, what is it? There's 700 households that hold over 70% of Doge shares, so be careful. It's definitely 100% a gamble. Doge is being ran by 7 big whales. Yeah, I mean it is. And as far as
But
sustainability, I mean, put it like this. Like I said in the beginning, if you made some life-changing
mm,
money, take the life-changing money and change your life, and then leave the rest just in case.
okay.
Take some of that life-changing money and go change your life. Leave the rest. But if it hits $1 on Saturday, I will say beware that, what they say is sell the news, buy the hype. And as you saw before, what was it when it? But I mean, at the same time, think about this. I was waiting for it to come back down to 10 cents, and then it
I never
It
did.
never
it
did.
never did. And that's the thing. Like,
People are starting to take it though. That's the thing. It's being accepted in places. Like that's the game changer. Is like if I want to, I can go get Mavs tickets using my Dogecoin.
yeah,
I can go to LA Dodgers games now, or I think it was maybe the Padres or something like that. So the more places that start to accept it, the more it becomes an actual currency, and then that's where it holds like actual value. So like you should hold something in it, but you shouldn't hold like all of it in there. Just in case. Just
Mm,
you risk a little bit, but only risk enough to where it's like this was all house money, right?
all I'm saying is, like I tell anybody who's doing options trading, when you're doing options trading, you always want to take a profit, no matter what. If it's $1, take a profit. And one gem I will leave with you forever for the rest of your life: if you do options trading, if as long as you're not taking a loss. Matter of fact, what is it? As long as you made a profit, basically, you won. Because even if you take $1, you didn't lose. And the thing is, people wait so long to see if their money is gonna, come back up or whatever the case is, that they end up letting it expire out. And then that's where people lose so much. And Robinhood and all these other people, these other platforms are making their money off people just throwing it in without doing any kind of research. The thing is, not only that, but with like what we're talking about with Doge, it's at the same time, like for instance, they talk down on Tesla last year, and they said Tesla wasn't going to do nothing. It's not, doesn't have any value, and this and that, and blah blah blah, and it never came back. I still say, as much as you know, Doge can make me a millionaire, or even a billionaire with the amount of shares I own, which is not as much as some people I know. But either
Yeah.
way, if there's a point where I can take some life-changing money out and just leave whatever I don't need, you know what I'm saying, and just let that ride out, and on the hopes of it becoming accepted and not just a quote unquote joke, then yeah, we're gonna let that ride out. And then a year from now, like you look at Ethereum, you look at Bitcoin, you look at Ethereum Classic, you know, all these different cryptocurrencies. In 1 year, people have completely changed their lives.
True.
And some news that came out from Kevin O'Leary recently is how they're saying like Bitcoin isn't sustainable, and not even just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency period, because of the mining process. And the crazy thing is in the regulation. So they're supposed to be having some huge meeting, but he's gotten involved now to where they're going to he's going to get involved with the regulation of it and basically legitimize cryptocurrency. And then it's not just him, but it's all these other CEOs. So to me, depending on when that meeting is, it could be huge for all of crypto. And that would include Doge, which is now what, the number 4 cryptocurrency valued out there.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
fair.
I think it's Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, and then this. Which is kind of crazy. There's nothing between Ethereum Classic, which is like $130 to $150 like per coin or whatever, and then Dogecoin, which is right now at 63 cents.
And that literally went from like $1 to $100. I mean, what, $70, $75 in a year. Let Doge do that. We'll circle back next year, and you'll see that, you know, I got a whale in the backyard of my this mansion that I'm sitting in right now.
God forbid that it actually does like go to 100 like that. That would actually be insane.
That'd be crazy.
I wouldn't say forbid.
I think it's not God forbid, but I just think it's something crazy would have to happen for that to happen. Like even I was a believer in Dogecoin. I just think that $100 is crazy.
I mean, not too long ago, like 15 cents, 30 cents seemed crazy too. And this is within the last couple of months, right?
True.
A lot of crazy things are happening within the last couple of years, man. We didn't have COVID. Now we got DeFi on the rise, like NFTs on the rise. Like what else is next? Like, we talked the other day about augmented reality. All these sci-fi things are just popping up. It's like the future was already planned like years ago. We just needed a way to actually bring it to life right now. And it just seems like it took COVID to really just like galvanize everything to where we are now. Right. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because it actually allows me to go into the next section of what we will probably discuss. And audience, also, I would like to hear your thoughts and see your comments. But so COVID happened. Basically, we'll just say it affected America. Let's just call it March till now. Has your life changed? Not even has your life changed. How has your life changed? And from what it sounds like, you guys have had positive aspects out of that. And if it's not too, I don't know, pressing or private or whatever, what kind of things have you used or learned from during this pandemic? How's your life changed, audience? Also, put that in the comments.
I think I'll kick this one off. This last 12 to 18 months has been the most life-changing, like in terms of my personality and my mentality, right? And like I lost the job, like after I'd been there exactly 1 year, literally 365 days after I started the job, I was let go, right? And then after that, I met up with some people. A friend of mine, Moses, he started an Amazon retail arbitrage business with $30,000 worth of credit cards, and a year later, turned it into over $1 million and then following that, like we generate over $3 million a year in revenue at the company I work for now, right? And through that, it allowed me to go ahead and start my own Amazon store, and now I generate revenue every month from that, right? So, and all of this happened because of COVID. Because if it weren't for the fact that it was COVID, the items that he was flipping would not have been profitable, and because of him having that experience, now I do things online as well, and I make money like that. And also because of COVID, I was able to catch certain stocks and at a super low price, like ridiculously low price. Like I'll give you two of my proudest positions. Like I got into Starbucks at about $55 a share, right? And I got into Boeing at just like $97 a share, right? Carnival Cruises, Six Flags, all the things that we knew that like this is not going away, right? Like we just knew certain things weren't going away, but previous knowledge and just this was just a perfect opportunity if you had some cash to really go ahead and change your life. And like due to COVID, a lot of people's lives have been adversely affected, and for other people, conversely, it's just extremely positive with a lot of upside. So, but then again, it goes to your mentality of what you do with the current situation, right? And so that's just on the financial aspect of it. But it just really opened my eyes. Like, man, anything can really happen. So you just got to be prepared, right? And this is why cash is king and trash at the same time. Because cash is king if you have it to capitalize on opportunity. But if you just have, so it's king there. But if you just only have cash and you don't know how to capitalize on opportunity, then cash is trash. Because inflation is just basically taking money out of your account. Just taking money out of your account. Unless you put it in something that's going to grow, then you can like outpace inflation. But if you just have savings, then inflation is just eating away at your money. But so those are some of my takeaways from
that's a huge thing that a lot of people can't understand though or fathom. When you put your money in that shoebox, especially, it ends up being nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were to save, and I was discussing this with family recently also. If you were saving, all your money, putting it away in a shoebox 10 years ago, you were saving up $100 to go buy some shoes. 10 years ago. Matter of fact, let's say you were saving up. Let's just say you were saving $1 to go buy an icy. By the time you saved that $1 and came back the next year, the icy now costs $7.
Boom.
So what is your your money? You're chasing something. So you need to take that money and try to have it make money. I feel like I say it all the time. Like if your money's not making money, technically you're going broke. Because you're going to have to spend it for one. No matter what, you're always gonna have to spend it. So if you don't have money that is actually making money, then it is going the opposite direction. Because you're always gonna have to spend. And at the end of the day, I've worked in corporate America maybe like 8 years, and I've seen so many times, time after time. Like I've been laid off. I've only been laid off once, but I've been furloughed. Yeah, exactly. And I'm young, right? And I've been furloughed. So the thing is, though, I see people who are 65 years old and whatever, 64, 63, and they're like panicking. They make 2-3 times as much as me, and they're panicking like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Now I'm about to retire. They're about to kick me out the door. All these different things, and I'm thinking to myself like, man, 30 years from now, I don't want to be sitting here crying about this job, and they don't want, because I don't have anything or my savings, is not enough now. 30 years have gone by. Inflation has taken over. My money means nothing. And the Social Security and all the stuff that people get wrapped up in, the pre-tax and the post-tax, all that, it really doesn't make a difference because, like I said, if you saved up that $1,000 today, 30 years from now, that $1,000 is not going to do nothing for you.
It's not $1,000 anymore. It's not $1,000 anymore.
Like, what are you really doing?
Right.
You have to have like some kind of, alternative plan, and your money has to be making some because, like I said, I've seen it time after time. Like these people are so worried and afraid, and I'm just sitting here just kind of looking at that and trying to learn from those people because I don't want to be that or in that position whenever it's my turn. And to be honest with you, if I can opt out on my own accord before that, that's what I want to do. Like, I don't need you. Let me go ahead and do me. So
It's like you really basically have to treat your finances like you're running a business, right? So um, what does a business do? A business has to have like a rainy day fund, and then the rest of that money they invest into the business. If you're investing into
yep,
skills, you're basically investing in your ability to make more money, right? So you're going to take a short-term loss. It's kind of like, that's almost like investing in stocks, right? I think that this is going to be a good skill for me. It's going to pay off to where my earning potential grows. And so however you can basically build those skills, whether it's like, I'm going to work at this job, this 9 to 5, and I'll stay at my parents' house for 2 or 3 years. You can accumulate that cash, do like stock purchasing plans, different things like that. That grows your money. You really don't have to think through it. But then, just treat yourself like a business. Again, diversify like your portfolio. Like, I'm sure all these big corporations invest into other corporations like themselves, like especially the tools that they use. They pay them to make sure that those tools are better, and then that makes it better for them to do their job and for them to make money. So same thing with you. Invest in these different things that you use in your life every day. So if you're a big Apple fan, invest in Apple products. That's your way of basically contributing to the company, making them better. And then if you're invested in them, you're going to see that return as well too. So just treat yourself like a company. Like, you want to make sure your assets are strong, but then also don't put yourself into something that's not useful to you.
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna say
And I
this.
really like this comment here too from William. And
Leo
sorry to cut you
Bosco.
off. It says it definitely taught him how to not rely on a job to survive, and it's an eye opener to become more serious about being self-dependable financially. And I just want to comment on that in itself because I do believe in from statistics that I've been listening to recently, because I think every day now I don't listen to regular news, or I don't listen to a lot of, because you have to now change the things that you feed your mind. And I'm every day I pretty much listen to financial news. So, or like what's going on in the world as far as how it's affecting what is going to affect my future. So the thing about it that's pretty crazy is about what he said is, it's well, not even really about what he said, but who he is, who we are. And our generation, and I don't know if you want to call it millennials, Gen X, Gen Y, whoever, now have an opportunity that may not have been there before for everyone else. But not only that, we're open to it. And the statistics show that our generation is more willing to take a risk and risk our, money or finances than the previous generation. And during the pandemic, they say more millionaires have been made than ever before, as well as people going broke and depending on stimmies and all this other kind of stuff. But outside of that, everybody, it goes back to that mentality. Everybody, um, the rich people got richer.
Mm.
Everybody wasn't hurting during the pandemic. A lot of
Yeah.
people, it came down to what you were depending on and the way that you looked at the situation. And
I
I'm not
mean,
knocking
it's
anyone who
basically,
Well, I'm not knocking anybody who needed any kind of mental break or was stressed out, because there's also a huge health factor. But there was a lot of opportunity to learn, grow, and come out of that with something that would have changed your life for the better as well. And that's in any situation that you would perceive as negative.
This is true. This is one of the lessons one of the major lessons my dad taught me when we were younger. He said, opportunity is always going to come, right? So, but the question is, are you prepared?
it's right here.
Yep.
Yep.
The question is, are you prepared? He said, say, I got this house, right? This is when he first bought the house, when he first came to America several years ago. He said, I got this house. If times were really, really bad, right? And I said, you know what? I need money today. I need money right now to go do something to change my life right now. This is a $200,000 house. Can you give me 15 grand right now and take this $200,000 house? That's the position we're in 2020 when COVID hit, right? That's the position we're in. So many people that had money were able to capitalize on the opportunities that became available just out of nowhere, right? No one saw that coming. Like no one could have prepared for that. However, the people that stay ready, the people that were already prepared to take advantage of the opportunity, were able to scoop up property. They were able to scoop up stocks. They were able to scoop up businesses, right? This is why so many businesses were acquired, right? Like Grubhub was acquired, right? And Credit Karma was bought out by another company, right? So many the companies that were cash poor needed to be bought out, and these are great companies, right? But if you consider a company like Starbucks, they keep about $2 billion just like sitting there all the time, right? What kind of crisis can you not overcome as a company if you have $2 billion, right? As any person, like just hanging out in America and in life, what kind of crisis can you really not overcome if you had $100,000 worth of cash sitting there to take advantage of opportunities, right? Opportunity is always going to come, right? But the idea that we all got to incorporate, like in ourselves and in our children, and pretty much just anybody, is that we got to be able to protect ourselves first, and then we also have to be able to take care of we also have to be able to capitalize on opportunity whenever they do present themselves. So, and this is one thing like that hit me hard one day. I don't know. Sometimes you ever wake up and you just have like an epiphany. This is one of those times, right? I woke up and it just hit me like.
I woke up while I was awake. If that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I definitely get that. But one thing that hit me was that the future, like life is only short in memory, but it's actually long in time. Let me say that again. Life is only short in memory. You can accomplish so much in a year and much more in 10 years. However, you can remember a year and you can remember 10 years back like that.
That's true.
I hope that made sense. Because life is only short in memory, but long in time. So you have time to make the decisions that are going to put you ahead. You have time to put in the work that's going to get you there. However, when you are there 5 years, 10 years from now, right, and you can remember the last 5 years and 10 years just like that, what have you done within that space and time to put you ahead, right? What have you done within that space and time? How much effort did you put in? How was that one night when you stayed up till 4:00 in the morning really that bad a year from now? So there's also a lot of sacrifice that has to go into it in order to make it to our goals, in order to be able to have that savings built up to take advantage of opportunity. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of sacrifice. However, once it's done, it's done. And I mean, you stayed up, in college, that time is done, right? You stayed up when you had kids, that time is done. You stayed up, you went to work, you put in overtime, you learned, you studied, you put in that time, but that time is done. So when that opportunity comes and you're able to capitalize on it, it's just going to be all that much more sweeter because you remember, like, dang, I really did that. I really did stay up all those nights. I really did read that big ass book. I really did go to that course. I really did pay for that. I really did do that overtime. I really did spend all that time just suffering. But now that I'm here, it's also much more sweeter. So as we go on all our journeys, it's important to realize that the work has to be done, right? The work has to be done. And one day we'll remember either doing the work or not doing the work. And it'll be the reason that we are where we are, wherever we are at that point in time.
Something
that's kind of like
really
what
crazy.
I was.
Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry. No, I was saying that's kind of what I was saying when I was cut off, when the internet gave out. It's you really just have to think about when you're doing those things, what is the outcome you're going for, right? Like, I'm going to school. Okay, that's great. You're going to school. What are you trying to accomplish with going to school? If you can't answer that, you don't know why you're trying to get there. That's why people say people get annoyed when kids ask why, but that's the smartest question you can ask in any situation. Like, why am I doing this? Because of this. Okay, why are you doing that still? Oh, well, because of this. And why is that? Because of this. And you get to this core reason why I'm doing this. And then that makes it that much easier to work through whatever this hard thing is. Like, I can stay up till 4 a.m. because I know exactly why I'm doing this. It's way more easy for you to believe and to really push yourself when you know what it's for. But then even outside of that fact, like you were saying, Wilson, pushing yourself to the end, like once I'm already 75% of the way through, you should get an energy boost because you're 75% done and there's only 25% left. And that should like take you forward, knowing that you're almost done. But then lastly, it's just a function of like what energy you put into this is energy you're going to get out, like we see right here in the comment. And so like if you want to move
I
forward,
love that comment, by the way.
if you want to move forward, you got to take action.
Somebody
yeah, that's very true because so one thing that everybody said so far is basically, people want to say, oh, don't shame somebody, and I'm not advocating shaming anybody either for not investing, but you're always investing time, and that could be, if you were to think about it from a money standpoint. I used to always say in my previous relationship, when you buy some food, if you don't finish it, you've left a certain amount of money on the table and you're throwing it into the trash. So if that was actually $1 or $2 on the table, would you throw it in the trash? And when you go to work, you invested some time to, you traded that time for money. At every point of your day, you're investing that time. So when you brought up the fact of like, was that 4 a.m. 5 years from now, or a year from now, or even a month from now, that you stayed up to try to do something? And I'll give a great example. Back in like 2000, I don't know, like 2000, I don't know, let's just say 2009, maybe 2010, I don't know. I remember staying up an extra 30, 45 minutes to apply for this job. And it was the last job on the list. And I was just like, man, I could go to sleep right now. And I was just like, I'm just do this one more. It took me about 30, 45 minutes to fill out that application. And I think it was for an internship. It was for an internship. That was the job that called me back the very next day. And that could have changed my entire life, because now I actually had an internship under my belt. It was oil and gas. And then they actually called me back the next year. Then from there, I have two experiences that I can put on a resume that another company will respect. And basically that extra 45 minutes where somebody else may choose to watch TV or say, screw it, I'm not going to do that. I chose to take that time or invest that time into doing that application. So now 5-10 years from now, I can look back on the line, and then I can look back and say, hey, I was able to invest that time, because the thing is, I could throw it away and throw it in the trash and go do something else with it. But now, years down the line, that may have actually been something that turned out to change my life. And what you are putting in is what you're going to get out, no matter what. And you can't cheat life nor the time that you're spending doing what you're doing. And with that, I'm going to give you an opportunity here to talk about the Amazon store, because we've had that requested quite a few times now.
Yeah, actually, that's my bad. I didn't even see that going on. But the Amazon store business model was really just retail arbitrage, where you buy something from one marketplace and you sell it on another. So, for example, right now I buy a lot of pools. Right, we may not realize it here because the weather's kind of up and down, and even in Texas, I sell a lot of pools. But right now I buy a lot of pools. I can literally just go to Walmart right now and buy a pool or pool-related accessory, like a pool cleaner, pool filter. Sidebar, there's actually a chlorine shortage in America right now, right? Like there's a chlorine shortage for cleaning pools and making sure they stay clean so you can actually utilize it. There's a shortage right now. So you can buy like one tub for, let's just say, $26 plus tax. And you can sell it on Amazon for $121. Like, these are real numbers. Like right now, these are real numbers. So
there you go.
So like that's like one little gem right there, right? There's also pool filter kits. Like I buy those for like $26 and I sell them for $67, $70 sometimes, just depending on where other people are pricing them at. And so really anything related to retail arbitrage is what I do on Amazon. It's really, really simple, right? You create an Amazon account. You can even use your current Amazon account and then just go to Amazon Seller and then you log in. It's $39 a month. right? If you're an active seller and you have an account that's making money, right? Or you can just get a basic account and it's completely free. You can put your products on there and you can log in and go to the store, scan the barcode, and it will tell you with the Amazon Seller app, you scan a barcode, it'll tell you this is how much it's going for on Amazon. Then you can also input your price that you bought it for, and it will tell you what the Amazon fee is, and it will tell you what your profit is. Real simple. So step one, download Amazon Seller, log in. That's step two. Step three, go to a store, go online, go anywhere, find a product, scan the barcode, and see how much it's going for in Amazon. You will be absolutely amazed the random stuff that's flipping on Amazon, right? Here's another one, sports
But
cards.
real quick, before you keep going, I know that this is a question that has come up a few times. How did you choose? Oh, you didn't actually choose. You actually went to the store and just kind of proactively researched by just scanning the codes, right? Or did you think about it up
Do you know
front?
how smart that is from Amazon's perspective? Like, for them, you're doing the work that they don't have to pay. Like, you can make money off their site, but they're basically getting like free information from you. Like, they say if you don't pay for
Information
something,
plus
you are the
passive
product.
income.
Exactly.
Because they're for them, they're gonna see like what are these hot items that are selling, like what's across all of my vendors, what barcodes are selling the most, right? So it might be this pool filter kit across all these different accounts. It's been hot and they've been selling it at this much, and then this is what they're buying it for. So when I go figure out who the supplier is, I can go negotiate like, hey, I need this price because I already know you got this at Walmart. Like you're not gonna disrespect us on this price. Boom,
Yeah.
now I can sell it, and then they can control the market in terms of like, where should this be priced? They could raise it, they could lower it a little bit to take out all the sellers. So, from your perspective, you got to kind of keep going, like finding these items, digging them up. But they are actually like reaping a lot of benefit from that too. I just realized that now.
They are.
It's
So
like it's a symbiotic
Amazon's got
relationship.
the game on lock. Like Amazon's got the game on lock, right? So certain things, like for a while we were getting these things called Apex Nessie plushes, right? It's a toy, it's a plush, like a stuffed animal figure that has a game code inside of it. So it has a zip on the back. You buy the game, you play the game, of course, right? But you buy this plush for, I buy it for like $9.99 and we sell it for $39.99, right? So you buy this plush and then you plug in the code into the game, and then you got some sort of unlockable character, or you got extra armor, stuff like that, right? You unlock in-game perks, right? So before it started selling on Amazon, you could find it in stores, right? To your point, you can find it in stores. And then when it caught on, like this is really flipping hard, Amazon went directly to the manufacturer and then they stocked up on several hundred of them. So what we started doing then was that we just bought it directly from Amazon and then flipped it back on Amazon. Right. So what I have is I have a bot. It's that's a bit more advanced, but I'll talk about it briefly. I have a bot. So I have a bot that is a automated computer system. It's a software, and I just tell it I want this barcode, and then it will search Amazon, eBay. I mean Walmart, Amazon, eBay, Best Buy, Academy, anywhere I wanted to search, and it will just buy it for me automatically. I just put my credit card in, and it's automatically scanning the web. As soon as it hits, I caught 50 from this website, 20 from this website, and 10 from this website, and they just get shipped to my house. And then I just go on Amazon Seller again, scan the barcode, say I got 100 of these, and then just list it at the price I want, and then it sells, right? So that's a little bit more advanced with the botting and everything like that. But just to get started, right? Just think about something that it's always sold out. Think about something that's in high demand, like Pokemon cards, right? Sports cards. Sports cards are just going for insane prices right now, right? Like there is like this, I think it was a Mickey Mantle card. 2 of them sold for something like over $1 million. 2 cards, 2 sports cards, right? And they sold for over $1 million. Like a Kobe card after he died, like sold for ridiculous amounts of money. LeBron cards. Like,
that was the #1 search thing in the entire year.
right?
over
Yeah,
COVID, over everything was Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant on Google is the #1 searched
That's crazy.
anything. So to kind of just like wrap this all up with the Amazon store, it's really simple, right? If you want to do it, everybody has an Amazon account. Like even if it's old, just download Amazon Seller. When you go to the store, go grocery shopping, whatever, just go by aisle. Like this is just to get your feet wet. Scan it, see how much that product is going for at Amazon, and then calculate in your mind, if this thing is $10 and I buy it right now for $10 plus tax is going to be, let's just say $11, $10.80, right? $10.80, $11, right? How much is it going for on Amazon? Is it going for $20? Is it going for $17? Plug all those numbers in, right? And then it would it would even calculate for you how much it's going to cost to ship. When it comes to shipping, just think about $1 per pound, right? $1 per pound when it comes to shipping. So if the item is a stuffed animal and it weighs less than a pound, just imagine it's going to cost you $3 to $5 to ship it. Factor that in, right? And then, like over time, you'll kind of start getting accustomed to it, or you can just hit me up and I'll just give you the game. Like we'll talk about
There
it.
you go, guys.
You can just hit me up.
Don't forget, please answer this question down below too. Whenever you finish, and then I got one after that.
So I would think that clothing stores would be good for someone to sell on the small end. Stores such as Ross, Burlington, Walmart. Perfect. Ross. Funny story. There's a product called XO Fico Boxers. XO Fico Boxers. You can go to Ross right now and buy them for $13 and sell them on Amazon for about $29 to $30. And people are buying them. They'll cost you about $7 to ship. Just do the math on that. XO Fico Boxers. If you just go to Ross, Ross has your own stickers, right? So don't use those. Use the one that actually comes on the clothes or the ones that actually come on the product itself. Scan that, see how much it's going for on Amazon. Sometimes you need to request approval to sell that brand. Just hit request approval. Most of the times with clothes, shoes, like things that are not heavily guarded, you can just sell them right away without any sort of like invoice or without any sort of ungating.
Free game.
Sell them right away. But if you have any questions, just hit me up. Will Too Real, Wilson or Pia Mensa on Facebook, and I'll answer any other questions you have, and then we can build your program going from there. But this is just for the people listening to this, though, because I'm working on a few things.
Yeah.
Right now. Once I get it really scaled up, I'll put it out to everybody. But just to kind of get in early, you can just hit me up. I'll answer your questions.
As soon as you said that, the viewers started going up. So with that, I'm gonna jump into the affiliate marketing aspect, and then Mike, we were gonna let you introduce the podcast. So from the affiliate marketing side, if anyone is interested in affiliate marketing, what that is basically you are kind of like a promoter. So you're promoting a specific product. So for instance, if you ever lived in an apartment complex, and this is the easiest way to make it make sense, if you lived in an apartment complex and they told you, hey, we'll give you a month free rent or $100 or whatever the case is, then basically, that's funny. What they tell you is, hey, if you get somebody to sign up, then, or for instance, you see all these people saying, hey, join Robinhood and you'll get $10 or we'll give you free stock. So you're able to make a commission off of referring people to a specific brand. So for instance, I would love to be sponsored by Celsius because I think they're pretty fantastic. But either way, if Celsius hit me up, then they would say, hey, if you can get customers or people to buy Celsius, we'll give you a percentage of all of that money. So if you have the traffic, you have you're able to build traffic or get people to see the product and increase the chances of those sales, then it's pretty much as people pass by, like for instance, if you were to stick a sign up outside your house and say, hey, buy water, every time they pass by your house and they bought water because they use your code, then they send you a check. So I'm an affiliate personally of quite a few products. I would never tell somebody to be an affiliate of something that they didn't personally believe in, but because it is a part of your reputation, but it's pretty much passive income because all you do is set something up and you let it sit there, and as people pass by and they're interested, or if you can gain their interest, then they make the purchase, then you get a commission. You never have to speak to anybody because technically you don't work for the company. The company still has to sell their product. So for instance, if you say, hey, my apartment's great, they're like, well, what apartment do you live in? You say you live in I don't know, Kirkland Apartments down the street, then they still have to go to Kirkland and deal with Kirkland. They don't deal with you. All you did was tell them to show up. So passively, now if Kirkland makes that sale, then you get a commission from that. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you have any questions, it says affiliate marketing programs are a great way to make passive income if you're able to scale it properly. Yes, and there is no initial investment up front unless you are
Hey, my man
I'd say
Joe.
like the only investment, like for instance, I'm a Amazon affiliate too, so there's that. Amazon pays a very low percentage, but people make purchases on Amazon all the time. So as Wilson was saying, he's able to scale and make money off of Amazon being a seller. If I referred people to Wilson's store to buy his product, I would get a very small piece of whatever Amazon makes. So let's say you get 1 million people to buy a $1 product and you made a penny, you just made $10,000.
Right.
So
Can I tap in right here real quick?
go ahead.
So Joe was just on here. Say Joe goes to Ross and he buys a pair of boxers from like Exofico, for example, and he puts them on his Amazon store, right? He can win both ways, right? He can then market his product on his own Instagram or social or wherever, and he'll be an affiliate, right, of Amazon. So he'll win if somebody buys his product. He'll also win because Amazon's going to pay him for somebody using Amazon to buy his product. That's the affiliate side of it, and that's his product. So
I actually buy for myself too.
So you can win both ways, right? So like we were talking about earlier, it's all about mindset, right? So if you go into this thinking you're about to sell 1 million boxes and make $1 million, no, right? But just think about it. This is a way for you to make a few extra dollars until you really decide that you want to really make some money and really want to scale it. Somebody talked about scale earlier, right? In life, whatever you scale is where you're gonna get your bread from. So if you scale your family, you're gonna get your bread and your happiness from your family. If you scale your store, you're gonna get your bread from there. If you scale at learning your skills, you're gonna get your bread from there. So just if you want to go into Amazon, just take the steps. Download the app. If you want to be the affiliate, download the app, get your own affiliate link, and do both. And you can make money in this. And it's really easy. I'm telling you. I smile every day.
Yeah, I personally don't push Amazon extremely hard, but if there's ever a product at all, I'm not gonna not put it out there. So there's that. I go, what I use is ClickBank, and then I use this other website, and I sell this popple right here. Y'all can see that. That is a digital business card. Yeah, I had to do a shameless plug, but either way, I got you've seen I had some of them pages that I had on there, and let's see. Don't forget to tell them to subscribe for more game. Yeah, y'all don't forget to subscribe for more game. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Mike, can you do the work real quick? Point down at the bottom and put the subscribe button right below where you put it. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna put the subscribe button right there. But when we talked about scaling, what I did personally was, one, starting this group. And you give there's a book called The Go Giver. When you give, that's gonna directly reflect honestly what you get. And if you're going into something trying to take, you'll never get as much. And you'll never get as much as what you're trying to get. So I decided to give freely love in a place for people to be able to promote themselves. But at the same time, honestly, you have to be able to survive yourself. But while you're giving this place for everybody to win, you can also win in the same place. So with all the traffic that comes through either this group, the YouTube channel, where we're at right now, for instance, you have an Amazon store. Did not know that. You can give me your link, put it in the description below. Now people are shopping at your Amazon store, free traffic, passive income. You never saw the person, never had to talk to them. You got people just buying that you never had to show up before. Same thing with Mike's podcast. It's all free in marketing. And from that mentality we talked about from the very beginning, how back in the day everybody thought you just got to go to get this job and be an engineer, be a doctor, be a whatever. I could care less. At the end of the day, when you can do something like that and you don't have to go and do anything and it's just coming to you, that's the best way. And that's my goal.
Yeah. It's definitely possible.
Freedom. That's it.
Possible.
One word.
Oh, hold on. Somebody said they wanted one of those popples. Hey, go check the announcements. Matter of fact, I'll drop the link down in the description, in the comments, and I'll make sure you get 20% off. Shameless plug. Got you.
Yeah. Just
Says,
that.
thank you for sending Bria Dior. Okay. Mike, do you want to
shout out?
Oh, you got an amen. Yeah, hallelujah. Mike, you want to go ahead and shamelessly plug that podcast?
Yeah. So I've been doing a on and off podcast for 3 years now. So it really, started as an idea to just talk sports because my friends used to get annoyed that I talk too much about sports, mostly about basketball, soccer, and football, just all the time. A lot of stats, a lot of nerd talk. And so I was like, all right, I'll start a podcast. I did a good 15 episodes. And it was all right, but I learned that, hey, man, there's a lot of thought that goes into this. It's not just, recording stuff. You've got to really, one, obviously watch your stuff. You got to know what you're talking about, right? So before you start any podcast, you've got to be able to speak to what it is naturally in its own conversation. But then outside of that, you've got to know the whole recording process, how to edit things, when to release them, keywords for hashtags, just keywords for search. There's a lot of different things. If you're trying to be successful, if you're just putting it out for fun. Sorry, what was that?
I said the SEO is no joke. It takes research.
Yeah, a lot of research. And if you're just doing it for fun, you can just put it out there. But if you want it to be somewhat good, and then you want to use that as a way to get in on other podcasts, what would be stopping me from getting on an ESPN podcast, right? You'd have to be good, show that you've got that kind of background. If you can do it yourself, you can obviously do it, with a team. So I guess long story short, I did that, for the past 2 years, and then realized okay, with the time that I have, I need to scale this idea down. So what I've noticed is the best part of the podcast is I always bring someone on to discuss sports, their position, their takes, their thoughts. So as work has gotten more busy for me and I've gotten into other business ventures and with this stuff that's going on in Tigray, I try to scale back and say hey, how can I do this podcast, but then make it engaging and something worthwhile. And that's bringing people on and having it be a platform for them to tell us what they're doing, what they're learning, and try to share that knowledge with other people, because that's what I love about sports, is that it's a group of people coming together to achieve one outcome, right? So here's me bringing on someone to talk about something in their life to help all these other people open doors they didn't realize was there. Every day you've got let's say 5 or 6 doors in front of you that could be opened. You can only open one of them, but you want to always be aware of what those doors are. And I think having, conversations with people who know things you don't is what kind of helps you open those doors yourself. And so that's kind of where I am with the podcast today, is have those conversations, and when time allows, I can have more specific sports talks. But really it's just about how can I help people help themselves, and do something with that podcast that makes a difference. Have one Wilson come in and talk about stocks, financial readiness. That's something that's valuable to people and will help them. And then guess what? They're going to come back, they're going to learn something. That might be something we can take on, new kind of episodes we can bring out, and we can see hey, how can we as a group of people kind of push ourselves to the next level? Because, that's the other thing about sports too, is that everyone's trying to be the best versions of themselves as part of a team. And so I look at it as, how can we make the team, which is the whole audience, how can we make everybody's lives collectively better? And that's by giving them knowledge, giving them game that comes from people who have done it before. A quote I got from a mentor of mine was, if you want to know the road ahead, ask someone who's already been there and is walking back. And that's kind of what this podcast is. I'll bring people on who've done it. They can spit that game. I'm going to be learning a lot, and then hopefully people are going to be learning a lot too.
And I just like to, let everybody know I'm going to be the first guest. Yeah, check me out on Friday, you know what I'm saying? And
yes,
something that somebody just dropped a gem in here that I have done a ton of research on SEO and spent many sleepless nights learning about SEO, which is search engine optimization, for anybody who's wondering. But I did not know, and we got from Bria Dior, that Google offers free courses about it. Did not know that. So thank you for that information.
We'd love to have
I definitely do a lot of research on
that.
Huh?
She's a wealth of knowledge. Bria Dior, she's a wealth of knowledge. We'd love to have her on one of these days.
Well, yeah. Hey, if you go to the About section in this in the Facebook group, there is an application, and you can apply to be on one of the interviews. And I do highly encourage y'all to go check out the interview with Mike that showed the war on Tigray and the information out there, and y'all could get information on really the genocide and the craziness that we are not seeing here in the United States on TV. So it was very interesting, and there's a lot going on. So go check that out and get that news of the culture.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world. I'll say that much.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, everybody, like I said in the beginning, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for all of us. The pandemic hit last year. Everything looks way different this year. Personally, I don't think I mentioned it, but I utilized, I don't know if Mike did either, but I utilized this past year to do a lot of self-development, and I think that it's allowed me to be in a place that I've never been in my entire life. And I'm talking about, basically being able to get that mirror and look into the mirror and see, I guess also with that mirror having a magnifying glass and scrutinizing myself and looking into some deep, roots of things, and try to attack attack some of the things that I think could have held me back or limited me at the root. So I think that the pandemic was an opportunity to do that, and to really, for a lot of people to actually really look deep inside themselves and try to make necessary changes that I think will be completely life-changing. And I've started many of these businesses throughout this past year. During the time that I was furloughed, I was able to actually finally learn more about the stock market. During that time I could have sulked at home, but I chose to stay up till 4 a.m. in the morning, learning about the stock market, learning how to do options trading, learning all these different things that I wouldn't have had time to do before, or that I allowed other things to take away that time. So, investing my time into things that would benefit, who I was as a person, a human being, mentally, emotionally, all those different things that we don't normally think about. But those things are things that are constantly on my mind now as I go through my day to day, and they've completely changed my life. So I'm very thankful that, I'm not gonna say for the pandemic in a sense of the health issues that has caused for the world, but it's definitely, like I said, you can change anything that's negative in life into a positive. And I think that, whatever setbacks you've had, they made you who you are. They made you, they put you in a position that you're in, and you never know what it is that the universe may have saved you from, or be trying to tell you that you may be trying to go against, or if God is trying to lead you in a specific direction, you keep fighting against him, eventually, it's going to hurt you. But if you just allow that to flow, you'll be able to, have a lot of success. And, you got something called NEO, non-emotional expected outcomes. So Even with the stock market, options trading especially, cannot be emotional. You cannot trade based off emotion, because as soon as you start getting emotional, you're gonna lose. And you have to realize you are in control of your emotions. I don't care what anybody says, you control those emotions, and I've learned that for sure this past year. If you, we said it earlier, happiness is a choice. It is not based on your circumstance or your environment or your situation. There's a choice. And so is being angry and sad and all this other kind of stuff. That is a choice. Yes, somebody can temporarily come and just do something you didn't catch it, but technically you probably, I like to say everyone is you pushed out. If you assume that someone is coming to you on a negative standpoint, from a negative standpoint, you're going to be upset. You made yourself mad. But if a baby did the same thing to you, you wouldn't feel that way, because you know that you didn't expect that from them. So if you approach everyone with that same mentality that they don't owe you anything and that they've come to you with a clean slate, even if they cut you off in traffic, then you're able to think, well, maybe this person doesn't know any better. Maybe this person had a bad day. Maybe this person's rushing to go take somebody to the hospital that's dying. All of a sudden, you're not angry anymore. And you actually maybe even feel happy, because if you knew that person was trying to save somebody's life, it might actually make you happy. You're like, man, I'm glad they actually were able to save somebody's life. So that whole perspective and shifting your mind and, you know, constantly being something that you're thinking about will change your life.
You know what that's called? That's basically like gratitude, right? You know, someone cuts you off in traffic. You know, you could be mad about it, but hey, you're alive, you're breathing, you didn't actually, you know, get hurt from someone cutting you off, and like you've got your whole life ahead of you. I think we forget to appreciate the things we have like right now, and that's why they say like gratitude is one of those ways to really ground yourself. Like, what are 5 to 10 things you're thankful for right now? You should be able to name 5 to 10, because that's the kind of life we live. You know, like you were saying earlier, Wilson, in the United States, like it's one of the best times to be alive, one of the best places to be. So, you know, we're not programmed to think about what we're having. We're not programmed to appreciate what we've got. So we've got to constantly remind ourselves of that. So then that way, when it comes to situations where things don't go our way exactly, like it's not a big deal, you know, like, or does this even matter? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get mad about, you know, oh man, someone, like, I don't know, someone's dog like shit on my lawn. Like, in the grand scheme of things, does that really matter? I'm gonna have to cut this lawn. I'm gonna have to remove that shit. It's gonna take me an extra minute, but it's not really stopping me from getting where I want to go. And then if that's the case, then I'm good. I appreciate like that. It's not my life is not any worse than, you know, why this happened. Like you were saying, goes back to like, why does this matter? And if you can't answer that, throw it out the window. It's not even worth like thinking about or contemplating, because, you know, your family's good, your money should be good, your safety's good. That's it. And as long as it's not interrupting my goal, if it's not those 4 things, all right, I'm good. I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah, so, and there may be a higher reason that you don't even know about as to why that happened, even when it comes to negative things. Like when you really allow yourself to wake up, even when you're not asleep, and you realize and think to yourself, man, I went through this quote unquote negative situation, but it had prepared me for something else. Or for instance, the whole world can look at COVID as being good or bad. A lot of people's lives have changed for the better and some for the worse. But it really kind of depends on how you perceive that situation and what you chose to do the time that you were allotted because of COVID. And then when you're able to appreciate some of those things, like regardless if it's credit card debt or a financial struggle, or I don't know, something taking longer than it did. Maybe it took longer, and then because of that, for instance, I lost that sleep that night. I ended up getting a job because of it. Depending on how you look at it, when they say when it rains, it pours. But it pours because you've already allowed yourself to get into the negative mentality. So no matter what now, everything for the rest of your day is going to be bad. Because you've allowed yourself to get into this mentality, oh, I woke up like this and I missed that. Now everything is going to be, everything that you've basically put your lens on or focused on is now negative.
Like you guys both make great points. And one of the things that through COVID I learned what was Neo, right? It's kind of like the Matrix Neo, but it's NEEO, which is non-emotional expected outcomes, right? And this goes for everything in life. And like we talked about earlier, everything is in life is a mind game, right? Everything in life is a mind game. But however, if we're practical in the things that we are wanting, the things that we desire, and in the things that we are doing on a daily basis, a lot of life starts to click, right? Like you can really make happiness a choice. Happiness is a choice. You can make it a choice if you're not emotional about the things that happen, right? There's no reason why any action in the day should really set the tone for the whole day, right? And like you said, Nick, we don't really know what's going on in someone else's life. Like one example that always hits me hard is that I've made mistakes, like when I'm driving and I might swerve into somebody's lane, right? Like I've seen other people do it, right? So if the other person does something like that and they swerve into my lane, it's easy to go off. Like, man, these people don't know how to drive in Texas. Like, what's going on? He's an idiot, all those things. There might be a bee in his car or her car. You don't know. There might be a child in the back smacking him across the head with their shoe. You don't know, right? So so long as like things are going well and we're moving things in the right direction, we should always be able, I think, automatically. And that's if I had a message for the day, it's to be practical. It's to be practical, regardless of what's going on. Be non-emotional about the things that are happening, and really process how our days are moving, and if it's in line with our destination of the things we're trying to do for that day, that year, or whatever. Move in that direction, walk in that. If it's not, we got to step to the side and let that pass so we can get where we're trying to go. But that's it. That's all I got for right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I before I let Mike hit this point real quick, I just want to tell everybody to try an experiment for what are we on hump day right now, for just Thursday and Friday as you go to work, to live without conditions, and like I guess give love and just live without the conditions of expecting something back. So and what I mean by that is if you were to approach everyone as if they were a child that could do nothing for you. If you're able to do for that person or those people without expecting anything in return, and still truly, because the thing is, you do for your children, and Will, I know you can attest to it. Do everything for all four of them, and they're not, you know, coming to do anything else for you except, you gotta wipe butts, you gotta clean up, you gotta do all this stuff, listen to screaming, but you love them, and
Man.
there's nothing that would change that. So if everyone that's here at least can try to live in the manner that they're approaching people, whether that's your boyfriend, girlfriend, coworker, the man on the street, to be giving of yourself without expecting any type of condition. I mean, not expecting anything in return, and truly just giving that way, even with your forgiveness. Don't expect somebody to say thank you. Don't say sorry with the something else in return, because that's how you end up putting yourself in a negative mindset. So just try that for the next 2 days, and really actively think on why you're doing things and why you feel the way that you feel, and try to shift your mind into not expecting or even wanting anything in return, because just like you would a child, you would not expect them to say thank you or whatever
Oh
the case
man.
is, because they can't talk. Do that. Try.
Man, I was going to add on to what Wilson was saying earlier. I think a large part of it is just being willing to try. Like since the pandemic hit, you notice like obviously a lot of lives have changed. You don't go, people aren't going to the club weekly, or at least like most people I know now aren't going to the club every week. Like you're not spending hundreds of dollars on Friday night, Saturday night, going to brunch, this and that. Like it's been for me like more transformative, like building healthy habits. So consistent gym, like cooking more at home, reading more books. You know, me and a friend started a project. It's an ongoing project. We've been going at it for like a year now. That is, we were just talking about it yesterday. Like, you never know, like what you start one day can turn into a lot more than what you bargained for. You know, it can become a life-changing opportunity. So, you know, it's just really about putting that work in day by day and then not really fearing failure. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier. How do you look at the letter L? Do you look at the letter L like it's a loss, or do you look at that as a learning? If you look at it like it's a learning, then you haven't really lost. And if you look at it as a loss, you're basically saying I give up. And I don't know about y'all, but most of the time in my life, like the way I've grown up, the family that I have, we don't give up. Like there's people, you know, back home in Tigray that are literally fighting for their lives. And that's like, those are the same people I call family. So like, how is it that I would be someone to give up? Or how is it that anyone else can be the person to give up when you basically been brought here by ancestors that did not give up? If they gave up, you would not be here. So you have to look at it as like, not as the responsibility that you need to keep it going, but more so as like, I can keep it going because we've done this before. I personally did this, but like, you know, the person who came before me did this and they did it and they did it. Like you have to remind yourself, you're not one, you're like the combination of many people in one thing, right? And then the last thing is like, just again, the L's, learnings versus losses. There's this quote literally sitting right here in my room. I've got this poster of Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. It says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost games 26 times. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and miss. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Each failure should bring you closer to the end goal that you're trying to get to. Each failure is a learning that takes you to the W. So don't look at it as an L, as a loss. Look at it as a learning opportunity, and then just remember that, you know, just because you missed the shot right now doesn't mean the shot that you take after this doesn't go in. It's a completely new game after every shot, you know? So keep shooting your shot. As long as you're putting in the work, as long as you're putting in the time and you have that conviction and belief, there's really nothing that's going to stop you outside of, you know, small little road bumps. But if you really are dead set on it, you really don't have to lose. That's completely up to your mindset. Like you can create that and then just go after it.
Yeah. Most of the time you actually lose before you win anyway. I mean, from just an engineering standpoint, you know, people, you know, there's all these different prototypes, and then you get to success. You know, you think about the rocket ships and, you know, going to the moon and all that. There was a lot of failures before they made it. Nobody just typically wins, you know, they even, you know, to the point that they call it beginner's luck. So you shouldn't think that, you know, typically anybody who thinks that they're going to just get rich overnight or have success overnight or be whatever overnight, that's not the mentality to have, because you're probably not going to stick with it. But we got to change that mentality. And like I said, keep on reiterating, this is opportunity of a lifetime right now. And we really have to hone in on taking advantage of it. And I hope all of y'all's Doge goes to $1. So we can, you know, I don't know if there's any other questions or comments from the audience. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you want to add. If there's not anything from the audience, though, I would like to thank everybody that was in the audience for showing up tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys, if you have any statements or anything that you want to leave with, definitely want to say I appreciate it. So be teachable in closing. But you know, I hope everybody was able to learn something, take something away. You know, learn something from the Amazon store to affiliate marketing, podcast, SEO, investing. We discussed a lot of different things that we now have an opportunity to be our own bosses, to kind of have more control over our future. And we have them right here at our fingertips, because, you know, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, while I'm at work, we've had this conversation this week. Actually, I'm doing like 3 different things. So, you know, we have the opportunity. It just depends on how much effort we're willing to put into it. Are we gonna? And I'm not gonna knock you for going to sleep. Go to sleep. But if you can trade some of the time and shift some of the things that you're doing around, to be able to, I guess, maybe make a couple extra bucks while you are asleep, I highly encourage you to take one of them nights and just stay up till 2 or 3 and try to learn something new if you have the opportunity. 5, 10 years from now, it may have made the biggest difference in your life.
Put in the work.
Do you guys have anything else that you want to leave the audience with, or any shameless plugs? Wilson, I just want to make sure that you please give me your Amazon store link, because we definitely will put that in there. Did not know you had the Amazon store. Y'all make sure that Mike, you go ahead and plug that Friday show. So
Yeah.
y'all have.
Yeah, we'll be
go ahead, Mike.
First episode on IG Live. We'll have Nick on, come through, talk about your platform and some other things. And Wilson, I think I got your contact info, so I'll hit you up, talk about some financials and some stock trading. Bring some of that knowledge over here.
Would you call it drop shipping, by the way, Wilson?
No, I don't drop ship.
Okay.
I don't drop ship. Just people might not know, but drop shipping is when you have the product sent from like another warehouse,
manufacturer,
somewhere else, and it goes straight to the customer. No, I actually buy the products from the manufacturer, and I keep them at a warehouse, or I keep them in storage, or I keep them in my house, in my car, everywhere. And whenever it sells, just put it in a box and ship it. And yeah, you can get a storage unit real cheap. Like one of the storage units, my storage unit right now is $17 a month. I have a couple $1,000s worth of product in there, and I actually have to go there tonight and pick up a couple of things that were sold this morning. I'm going to ship them off tomorrow, and it's like a couple $100 right there. And it's easy and it's simple, but you have to do the work. That's the only thing. You have to be practical. Like I told one of my friends the other day, you have to work for what you want, right? You can't want more than you're willing to work for. You're not going to get it. So you have to work for what you want. And like I said, if anybody has any questions about this, like just hit me up, like Wilson Apiamensa on Facebook, or Will2Real on Instagram. If you know Nick, you just contact me through Nick. We'll figure it out. But or you could just actually post your name in the comments and just say, I want to learn how to run an Amazon store, or Amazon Wilson. That'll work.
And if you ever have any products or whatever you want to use the group to promote, please feel free.
Bet.
Do you promote the group yourself? I mean the store, or does it kind of just gain passively from people just searching for the product?
It's organic traffic. It's just organic traffic through Amazon. Like you can, I have an eBay store as well, and I was selling shoes, and my shoes were actually featured on the eBay ad. Like for the ad for eBay, we're using my shoes and my products for eBay. So whenever somebody clicked on eBay and they saw a nice pair of Yeezys or something, it was my product they were actually buying. And so those are just opportunities that just come up. So just ask me any questions you got. Like I'll give all the game for free, because I want everybody to win. Like, and the more people, the more sellers that are out there, the more competition it creates, and then it just makes me work harder. And I'm gonna win. So I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna put in the work. So you have to be willing to outwork the competition, and you have to outlast the competition. That's a quote by Patrick Bet-David. Got to outwork and outlast, and you'll be successful.
All right. Well, I guess my shameless plug then. Everybody, remember I got the YouTube channel, so make sure y'all check out all my affiliate marketing products that are posted here in the group and the announcements. Secondly, this year I do plan to take monetized, I guess, pinned posts for the group. Lastly, though, subscribe to Hollywood Life on YouTube. Finally became monetized 2 weeks ago, and we got Hollywood interviews on YouTube also. Not monetized, but that is the channel where I post all and try to help others be seen and to promote your products and services and businesses and things like that. So just to make sure that you support there's everything from mental health, conversations like this. You got, maternity, financial education, TV shows, CEOs of this, that, and the third. So that's a very educational and beneficial channel to also subscribe to. But my personal channel is Hollywood Life. Just scrolling on the ticker below. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, and check out the description too, because that's where I'll have everybody's information, like Mike's podcast and Wilson's Amazon store and the eBay store. Whatever links y'all want, make sure y'all give it to me, and it's going to be in the description.
What's that?
Sounds good.
All right. So
All right.
I guess if there's no more questions, I just want to thank y'all for coming on tonight. This was a great conversation. Once again, opportunity of a lifetime. We're all, going after it. 3 foreigners, but this is the time in life where we have, the ability to make huge changes. And I've seen so many posts recently and reminders from Facebook where I've been saying, man, last year was so much different. Last year was so much different. That'd be like 2017. Now we're in 2021, and I'm like, yeah, life definitely looks different. So keep on making a change. And thank you to the audience for showing up too.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate y'all for joining. Yeah. Appreciate you for having us on.
Yeah, and make sure y'all go and support these guys too.
All
right.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Yo.
Love.
Peace out. See y'all.
Peace, love, prosperity.
All right.
All right.